Let my clerk go sit.
I went over with
Yeah,
that
he could-
grant too, by the
I
way.
love that.
You went over with them.
Well water, Rich.
We look like we match. We're right across from each other in
Yep.
that picture. We both have
So
a
so
great
we
shirt.
there's another place on,
Twinning.
Yep, going
I should have worn my other earrings.
Yep, going
You
towards
should have worn your
Baltimore.
earrings. I should have got more tattoos.
Hagerman.
That one's a little seedier. It's like coming out of a rock.
All right,
All right.
my friends, welcome. Irene, you just need a little more time, or are you good with us starting, Irene, or?
Oh, I'll come to my desk.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we can get, we don't have a huge agenda, so we can take a minute. All right, I just want to start with, I want to add to the communications and presentations portion. We have Amsterdam Free Library Summer Program and Building Renovation by Nicole Hemsley. She'll be up to speak when we start the meeting. But for B, we have a Parks and Trails update from Alderman Carpenter and John Naple.
So I'm gonna let John Naple speak about it, and then I'll jump in when I can.
Okay.
But
Yep.
I've given everybody kind of an update of what I thought some of the issues were. Mike has it, Stephanie has it, with some pictures of some opportunities for some things that we'll talk about after.
Excellent. Yep. So we'll just add that under communications and presentations on part B. Next, we will go to the agenda items. We do have a 550 public hearing for a CDBG grant to Creekside Tavern LLC. So we will be cognizant of that time. Our first resolution is the one adopting the minutes. Stephanie, thank you for writing those. We just have to change I didn't notice this in the original one. Did we start over with number one, the resolution numbers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, what does it go up
New
to?
fiscal year.
Oh my gosh, it's new fiscal year. Okay, welcome to the new fiscal year. FY 24-25. So this is resolution one. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we all learned something new tonight. Resolution to sign general indemnity agreement for the streetlights, Alderwoman Collins. We had started to talk about this last week at the last meeting.
Oh, yes. We'll talk about this. The mayor.
Any questions?
This is just something we needed to purchase the streetlights. Let's
Yeah,
get that
it's
bond.
going to initiate the streetlight program. In order to do that, we need to sign a final agreement with National Grid. That agreement has been written, and we have closing documents that we need to provide. We'll be providing those by the 20th of this month, and then scheduling the meeting, the closing in the following month. So we have to pass this resolution at this point in time to be prepared for that. We will be borrowing money to put those streetlights in, half the money, the other half, a little bit more than half the money, the other half will be coming from a reconstruction board loan for $1 million. And after a long, long time, we'll be able to start the project, and they should be able to complete the installation of our 1,800 streetlights in about 3 months' time. So depending upon when they start, we could have it done before this year if everything else goes right. That's kind of where we are. So it's a very exciting thing. The lights, the equipment are actually in the city, ready to go. We just need to get these final few details worked out with National Grid. It's been an experience, but we're almost there.
What is the cost of the bond? Well, we couldn't get an exact amount because it has a lot to do with how long we need it for and everything, but I think it's about $7,000 a year. But don't quote me, but that's kind of what I think it is.
Okay. All right, the next resolution is authorizing the mayor to execute dog shelter, typo there,
Yes.
services agreement with Montgomery County SPCA. I'll be happy to move this one because Alderman Marcel is not here. This is this.
You skipped one.
Did I do? Oh, I did. I had that. I had a.
Visitor City Hall.
The City Hall and city-owned buildings, the policy. I imagine the mayor, that would talk a little bit about this.
I tried to get you up to speed about what's been happening with the videographer. We issued an executive order. The executive order is now, we'd like to make that the policy for the city. That's basically what we're doing. Instead of just coming from me, it would be approved by the common council and become official policy. I did the executive order because of the timing. This guy was coming, et cetera. So if anybody has any questions about that, we're happy to answer that.
The only thing that I thought of last week, but I didn't add, is maybe we could just create a chart, maybe that just listed it out, City Hall is this category, just to make it easier for people to read. But I did read through it, and it all sounds really good and helpful, but
Nothing else?
all right. Now the SPCA shelter agreement. We talked about this during the budget, that the shelter services got increased to $22,000 per year. We pay that quarterly. And this is to take dogs that are found, stray dogs throughout the city.
And cats.
And cats.
We, in negotiating this contract, they came to us and asked for a hefty increase. They have a new facility there. We had some concerns from last year regarding their inability to handle our needs. That we were turned away quite a few times because they didn't have room for us. So agreeing to give them this amount of money was something we did, and because we're not able to make a contribution to them, a flat dollar amount contribution. I thought I could recommend that we do it this way, the larger annual fee, but with the guarantee that we would not be turned away. And they're guaranteeing us that now. When we are turned away, we have to take these dogs to another shelter. It costs us, we have to pay for it. It's not inexpensive, and it takes a lot of time to do that and get that result. So I feel confident that this won't happen, and by increasing the amount, it'll be helping them financially in a way that, with ARPA money, that we did not do what we had the opportunity to do.
To add to that, Mayor, they haven't had any increase in many, many years. I don't know the exact year offhand, but it's been a long time since they asked for an increase. So.
I just want to state, I will not be able to vote on this. I now sit on their board.
And these are typically dogs that are unlicensed, dogs or cats that are found that are unlicensed in the city, or?
Stray dogs, even dogs that have to be euthanized, no one picks them up. I mean, all that too.
They perform a very valuable service.
Yeah.
No question about it.
Yeah.
Couldn't live without.
I do want to point out that our clerk, Stephanie Gherkin, often comes in on the weekends to issue dog licenses to dog owners who don't have them. Their dogs have been found and brought to the SPCA, but they can't get released until they have a license, correct? And out of the kindness of her heart and her dog-loving ability, she comes in on Saturdays to help people out. And I don't think she should, and I appreciate it. I'm sure the dog owners appreciate that you do, but I feel like you don't get any credit for that, so I did want to point that out. Thanks.
Good job.
Yeah. And the next one is approving the audit. Alderman Collins.
That's fine.
Excellent. Let's move on to Alderman Carpenter has a proposal to talk about, and it kind of will fit into the engineer's report, because it has to do the engineer as well. So we kind of do that, and then the engineer's report until 5:50, where we'll take a brief break to do the public hearing, and if we need to go back to it, we can, before the 6 o'clock session.
So I everyone has these in their mailbox. I gave one to Mike, I gave one to the chief, and one to city engineer. This is about the proposed sidewalk on Julia Street, making that a walkable community, which is so not safe or friendly at the moment. There's no crosswalks, there's no sidewalk, there's no nothing. I did a survey through the parent square of the school district. You have a copy of that survey. You have some questions to ask parents how they felt about certain categories, and then you have their comment section on it. You also have a letter of support from the school district, which was also discussed with the Board of Education, and you have a map of the actual street, which shows in highlighted sections where the sidewalk is going to go, where the crosswalks are going to go. And this the timing couldn't be any better from a synergistic standpoint, because it ties it into what the CDTA Five Corners area is, and the meeting that we're having next week concerning the traffic calming section up on Church and Clisby. Since this is going through the CHIPS program, the mayor has supported it fully, so has Mike Clark, and the chief also supports it. So we didn't really need to discuss it in the meeting, because it's not something that we need to vote on, but it's something that in case you have any questions, I just want to talk about in the council. Any questions?
That would work.
Thank you.
And so the
It was a lot of work.
concern,
I appreciate everybody supporting it. Mayor, Mike, JJ, I mean, everybody in council. It's a goal to make that area more of a walkable community. There's just no safe places for kids to walk to school. And in talking to a lot of the residents over the last 6 months discussing this issue, that is one of the main things that they talk about, that, especially in the wintertime. But they would like to let their kids walk to school, just they don't feel that there's any safe place for them to walk. I think that when the project's completed, it will cut down on the combustion issue, because a lot of parents that want to let their kids to walk are driving their kids to school right now and picking them up when they only live a couple blocks away. So, and with the neighborhood schooling now being what it is, these are all kids within our neighborhood. They're not kids from the other side of the city or anything. So they have more ability to walk to the school. And I think it empowers them more for confidence and everything by doing things on their own. It's like I told JJ yesterday, I don't believe that we raise children. I believe we raise adults to make good decisions, and empowering them to make decisions on their own is beneficial to their growing, especially if this is the years, through elementary school, that we see what kind of kids they're going to be, choices they're going to make when they get older. So good choices, better in the end.
one thing I found interesting when you talked about it was that cars park on the side of the street, which pushes the kids into the street. That was the main safety issue. Okay.
Especially in the winter.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see how this works out, because I think there's some other schools that near neighborhoods that we could.
Well, I mean, and Mike Clark and the mayor will tell you that, there's a big initiative going on right now to make communities walkable communities.
Yeah.
It goes along with the EV cars and, bikes and all that stuff. And anything that helps children become more empowered, I am all for. But I think the priority should be making safe places for children to walk. And this absolutely, I think, fits the bill and helps with that situation.
What does this do to our CHIPS budget?
You'd have to
Is that
ask,
something,
engineer.
if we add this in, what gets bumped out?
Well, I mean, some of the alternate streets would have to be bumped.
But not all of them?
No, I wouldn't, no, I mean, you're talking about, I don't have based on the quantities, you're talking about this.
It's about $90,000, Michael? Pardon, $90,000?
9,200, yeah, in there.
And it's just under 1,100 feet.
Based on the quantities that we have presently. So it will take a bite out of it. Our base bid on the base bid streets, that's currently estimated at, based on the unit prices of 1.6, we've got 2.1 million to use, so it's gonna take $100,000 out of the 500 remaining.
But the regular streets will be done first before we go to
The base bid streets are
ones that are
we've already just said, this is
Definitely, that we, okay.
So if for any reason we ran out of money, part. If for any reason we ran out of money, things on the item, and that list would have to be sacrificed.
Well, that's just it, and that's, for that reason, that's why at this point, the contractor, Callahan, hasn't noticed to proceed. They have a notice to proceed on the base bid, the initial group of streets, that the quantities of pay at, based on. And as we monitor, the progress on all those unit prices or all those quantities on a weekly basis, and once we have a clear projection of whether we're running over or under, I'm optimistic or confident that we're gonna run under on them, which is good. Then we'll begin to release streets based on a priority, right? And that's one of the big topics we continually, on a regular basis, revisit here in these meetings. So I would expect that we'll be doing that again shortly.
Any other questions for the?
I will mention, I didn't get a copy of any of that, but the way our code is currently written for snow removal, that there's nothing that's enforceable to make the homeowners or wherever those sidewalks go to clear the snow. Because the way the code is currently sits is that they have 48 hours from the end of the snowfall to clear their sidewalk. So you might.
Same around the whole city, right?
It is the same code for the entire city. There's not separate zones or anything.
Or you could have a school put it on. School? What participation are they doing?
It's not school property.
It's our problem.
Homeowners are okay with cleaning it up.
Chris, you talked to them, right?
Great. Anything else on that? All right, we've got about 2 minutes, so we can call the public hearing. After that, we can go back to the engineer's report.
So start. Anybody want to start your engineering report? We have 2 minutes and then we'll stop.
Sure, thank you. The number one item to report on this week is an update of the work on Lion Street. Storm drainage is in. The road is back to subgrade elevation. I anticipate that we will reopen it. We have a couple of more items to address here between tomorrow and Friday. We've also, it's worth noting that we just installed about 300 feet of 36-inch storm drain. In the process, we had replaced more than 200 feet of sanitary sewer. That was, all of it was fractured. All of the manholes were fractured, largely. I mean, it's just a theory at this point, but certainly the demolition years ago didn't help. And the explosives. So with that in mind, and knowing that there is a capped area on the site of, and I forget the building number, forgive me, of the Open House, that you can't dig below the surface, much like Chalmers, the Chalmers site. I decided to CCTV inspect the trunk line sewer that crosses that. So we checked the sewer today. We cameraed it all the way from, videoed it, I should say, all the way from Lion Street, all through the cap area and across the creek and across that dam. All.
We stopped at 5:50.
Okay, that's fine.
You're doing
Sure,
good.
go right ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, public hearing is now open for the purpose of hearing public comments on Steve Anton's current community development block grant project, assistance to LLB Creekside Tavern LLC, funding amount of $100,000.
Anyone from the public like to speak on that?
It's hard to hear, but, yeah.
Sorry, Shep? No, I'm
Well,
sorry,
then
Jim.
No, it's hard to hear, so I don't know
Kill the
what she says, but probably, we can just sit here and relax, all
Okay,
right?
so there's no one would like to speak in the public hearing? Okay,
There you go, Chad.
no, this, okay, so thank you very much. We'll close the public hearing. And we'll finish with the engineering report, Michael.
All right, so as I was saying, we did video inspect all that, that trunk line that carries much of the flow of that section of the city, and also the village of Hagen as well. I'm going to, as a precautionary measure, based on what we saw in the inspection today, I'm gonna slip line the sewer from Lion Street across that capped prohibited area, if you will, and to where it meets the creek on on this side, about 200 feet of pipe. I have I'll report on that, but we have prices coming and a state contract available from KPI that we can use. It's not super expensive, but it's a precautionary measure because I do not want the city to be in a position to have to dig in that area. It would be wildly expensive with the environmental measures you have to take. And I also, as we discussed earlier, yes, based on our discussion here a few minutes ago, I will again issue our latest and greatest paving list to remind everybody what the base bid streets are and what the current alternate streets are and the priorities of those alternates as I understand them. So, and I will distribute that ahead of the meeting, so next week. Please, by all means, comment when you see it, so I make sure I'm thinking the same as everybody else is. And that's really all I have, unless you'd like me to talk more, I can.
Anyone have any other questions they'd like to talk about on Mike's list?
Just a reminder to get the Let Out program is up and running, and we want to get as many people to do that as possible for lead service line inventory. So anything we can do to push that out to the community, I think that would be very helpful to the project.
And I do want to thank the residents and businesses up on Lion Street and in that area for putting up with that massive project. I was up there last week to take a look at it, and it's much larger than, right, Mike, we thought it was going to be in terms of the amount of work that needed to be done.
Well, in terms of the overall length, it was as planned.
Yeah.
However, given the maze of sanitary sewer lines that all meet at Wilbur Lion Street forest, and it, with all of them essentially being half crushed, it turned into much more work, probably another 2 weeks on top.
And, you know, thanks to the contractors and our own city employees for.
They spent a lot of time there.
They spent a lot of time, very, very hard physical labor, and they're doing a great job, and it's, you know, the big dig, but it's, you know, not one we wanted to make, so it looks good. I mean, we're hoping this will be perhaps the last weekend we have to put up with it, so we'll see. Thank you. Where are we? Anything else? We could, how are we gonna start this? We got 5 minutes to go. We could have, I guess we can. I was gonna say we could have our friends from Chuckanunda start, but why don't we just not do that and make them interrupt and let them.
Okay. You want me to
I meant for
talk about?
You can
my
talk about
first-
anything you want. You got 5 minutes to go, buddy. No, we're
Okay.
not gonna start the meeting until.
So in going along with John Naples here, he's going to talk on some of the things that we noticed and we talked about there in the meeting with Parks and Trails on June 17th and 18th. On the 18th, we took a ride together through a little cycling party. Some of the things that I think the biggest thing that we really noticed was there's a lot of opportunity to bring a lot of money into the city that has to do with the bike trail. There's 4,000 people that stay in that area between spring and fall. But yet there's really no signage for lodging. There's cheap and lesser expensive lodging. There's no signage for the new Montgomery County Information Center on Bridge Street. We need to redo some of the crosswalks in that area so they have safe passage across the streets. There need no restaurant advertisements, no nothing. So it's, in my opinion, it's really a blank slate to try to get some of that money that's coming in, so they can spend some of it in our city to bring some of it to us. I know, Mayor, I talked to you a couple of years ago about, a mural on the side of the bridge support. And I know, I've spoken to Bob Patel about it as well, because I wanted to get his support, so he could speak to the mayor about it from a county executive standpoint. And in the pamphlet that I given you, there's some sample pictures and there is money available through Canal Corporation for this type of thing to promote, advertise your county and the city and the trail. I'm not going to go into every single thing of it because I just touched on most of it, especially when we got just a couple of minutes. But all I saw and all I heard through the whole thing was opportunity, and it's stuff that we don't do now. So it's, revenue is very important to us, and trying to get people to invest in our city. And I not only see the potential for cyclists who come through the city, but maybe that would bring somebody in that would want to open a bike store in the city. The only one we have is way up on Route 30. But if we had something down here close to the bike trail, it might also benefit the city as well. I just see nothing but opportunity with it. And it was very enjoyable. They were extremely knowledgeable, and they really cared deeply about investing in their time and attention into the city. So that's all I have, Mayor. I know John's got some things to discuss when it comes up, and I hope I didn't make it repetitive.
I was going to ask him to talk about funding that we may have available through the DRI. For some of the stuff you're talking about, I know signage, model streets, things like that. We could tie in, but if you know of any specific funding that you've been talking about through the canals, let's make sure that Dan is.
Okay.
I think there was some mural.
I actually have a
money
list.
too, right?
We are doing murals, but
Yeah.
we don't have a mural planned, I believe, for the bridge.
So I have a list. I'll send it to you.
That'd be great. And then we can take a look at what we have, what's being planned. We're gonna have, there's 7 murals being planned as part of the DRI, and we finally have that contract pretty much in place, but we could add to that, I believe, with extra money. All right, so.
I know Bob was pretty excited about
Mr.
it.
Bertel too, how excited he really is, right?
Yeah.
And then they'd be cohesive if they were
Yeah.
part of that project as
Right,
well. That'd be
exactly.
great.
Could we please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderman Christopher.
Here.
Alderman Holden.
Here.
Alderman Collins. Alderman Carpenter.
Here.
Alderman Marzello.
We have no proclamations this
Um,
evening, correct?
First, I need to adopt the agenda as is. No additions tonight.
Alderwoman Christopher.
Aye.
Alderman Holden.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
No proclamations this evening. So we're at the communications and presentations portion, and we have a couple of guests here, Amsterdam Free Library Summer Program and Building Renovation. Nicole, you're going to come and talk to us about that exciting project at the
Yes.
library.
So we're starting out Monday with summer reading, and I like to think that Amsterdam has one of the best programs in the Mohawk Valley library system. So we're starting out, we've had great response. We have one of our employees going into schools, really drumming up a lot of interest with the kids. So I'm a little nervous as to how many we're gonna have coming in for all the programs, but fingers crossed we'll be okay. We've also had a really great response this year to donations for prizes to really get them reading, try to cut back on the summer slide that you see during, summer months. So it's business as usual at the library, even with construction starting. So I'm sure everyone's noticed all of the gates around the building. Unfortunately, I had to make the decision today that we won't have any handicap access for a little while. They're demoing out some floors in the basement and knocking down some walls, so it's really not safe. The front of the building is safe. So we sent out a blast email today about that, and we also have it all over our social media. So if anyone has any questions or concerns, please have them call me and I can explain what's going on. We've been talking about construction for 6 years, and I feel like nobody thought it would ever happen, including me. You just talk about it, and now that it's actually happening, it's a little bit of a panic attack, but we'll get through it, and I really would like to stay open as much as possible. So I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Reading program, how many kids are you expecting?
Pre-COVID, we would see between 200 and 230 register. COVID's been, post-COVID, this is the first year our numbers are coming back. So to be honest, I'm a little nervous that we're gonna be getting northwards of 250 or more.
Okay.
And
What's the
while
ages?
mostly school age,
From
It's-
all then elementary?
yeah.
Okay.
So what you see as a drop off once they hit that teenage, 13, they don't want to come in anymore. And then they'll start coming in as they get older. There's like a lapse. We're really trying to reach out to teens. It's a little hard to sometimes
How do
compete
kids sign up if they're interested?
Right now you can pre-register online, but you really need to physically come in on the 8th. And the first 140 kids are gonna get a backpack,
Okay.
things like that. Yeah, we're raffling off a Switch. So for every 20 minutes you read, you get a raffle ticket. With a raffle ticket, you can either enter to win many prizes that are being, pulled during the summer, or you can win a Switch. So they're all excited.
Have you
about
led our marketing program, or are we working with you on our tourism and marketing?
that.
Can you send us
Sure.
some stuff, so
Yeah.
if we're not, or if we are?
Yep. I think we do cross-share things a lot.
I hope so, yeah.
And things, but yeah, there's nothing like formal in place.
Okay, but let us know.
So, does
So you
anybody
have
have?
all of this on your website?
Yep, all of it's on the website, all of it's on our Facebook page.
Can you go over a little bit more about what the scope of the construction project is that you're doing?
Okay, so
What the end
we're
goal
beginning
is?
phase one. And phase one is really the systems. We have to upgrade, we have single phase electric right now, but like you find in your house, which the fire department helps us with every year when we do our, our inspection. So we're gonna be upgrading to a new 3-phase transformer. That's gonna be really big. And that's gonna eat up just a little bit that we have it. It's one of the green boxes on the side of the building. That's gonna have to be dug out and dug down and the new transformer put in there. That might be our only downtime, is when we're switching that over from one electrical service to the other. I'm hoping it won't be long. And we're creating an entirely new electrical room and network cabling through the building. We're also have to upgrade all HVAC because it can't run on the single phase. It has to be on the 3-phase. And we're also fixing, there's a bulge in the sewer line under the building. We're relining all of those. We're also preparing the building. While I realize Amsterdam has the combined sewer and stormwater system, and we can't fix it yet, the library will be prepared when the city can finally get to that step. The library will be prepared for that. So we're doing all that internal infrastructure and upgrading it all. So that's really phase one. That needs to all be done, make sure the historic building's set, and then we put on the addition. The addition's actually the easy part.
Okay.
It's all this other stuff that's.
And do you have to take off the old edition?
So it's
Still?
just that one part that juts out. That'll come off hopefully next year at this time, and then the new construction. And then we'll have a new full-size elevator,
Nice.
and we can put portions of the historic building back to original. We're actually doing that with some of the HVAC too. So it's gonna need fresh air intake. So we're putting back 2 eyebrow windows. If you look up at historic pictures of the library, there are 2 round eyebrow windows that were in the roof. We're putting those back. So a lot of the historic aspects we're adding back to the building.
This is all from the DRI, correct?
DRI, some of it's,
Some of it,
it's only 2.6 million we'll be getting. 1.8 from the DRI, an additional CFA award of 800,000. And the remainder of that is construction aid from New York State that libraries can access, personal donations, and we're still short a little bit. So we're still working on that. So, but with the
Join the
changing.
club.
So people can
prices-
donate if they'd like to.
Oh, definitely, definitely. With the changing prices, I'm really hoping that when we rebid again, phase two, the prices will be a little more manageable than they were during COVID. So.
Any other questions?
Phone number.
518-842-1080. It's the library. And I'm Nicole.
Any other questions for Nicole? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the work you do.
Public participation
Oh,
portion?
one
John
more.
Naple. I'm sorry, he's not on here. I'm sorry. I didn't know if he was gonna do a public or not. John Naple, you have approached the podium, please, and tell us what you got. What is this gonna be?
This is the continuation of the Parks and Trails discussion.
Chris Carpenter asked me to come, and he's part of our committee for the Parks and Trails designation. You're welcome. As a trail, a trail city, and the Amsterdam applied for this. You know, you applied for this and you won, and I say you won, but, so this Parks and Trails New York, named Amsterdam, also a couple other towns like Little Falls is one, I know, and they've done it last year too. And the purpose is to try to make the city more friendly to bikers, hikers, and people that are gonna spend money in Amsterdam. Part of our committee is Nigel. And Nigel is an expert at he said 4,000 people contact him about bikes. And that, you know, he gets over 400 people every year stay at his place. He's like an expert at it. Things like having a bike rack, or he's got a separate room in his place for bikers. On the 13th of July, there's going to be 700 people going through Amsterdam on the bike trail. And, I don't know if you've seen these signs, but it says Empire Bike Trail. That's 750 miles. It goes from Buffalo to Albany to Canada down to New York City. That's the Empire Trail. And then there's another little sign and it says Canalway Trail. And the Canalway Trail is from Albany to Buffalo, that part, along the Erie Canal. So, and the Canalway Trail is like 90% all off-road. The other parts, like from Albany to Canada, Albany to New York City, that's not off-road. And a lot of people are interested in this, and it looks like it's a good opportunity, like Chris said, for the city to try to cash in on these people that are here. And Nigel already knows this. Antonio Lanzi, he knows this. He's on our committee, and so we also have for this designation committee, Dan Gray is on he's the head of the committee. And, we've got also citizens, Amsterdam citizens, like Mike Medwood is one, Jackie Murphy is the one, so we got different people that are trying to help with this project. Okay, now, but as long as I'm here, I know it's what date it is. It's the day before the 4th of July.
What's the 13th? Is it a Saturday?
Yes, it's a Saturday, and they'll be here in the
So we got a
morning.
Concert that night, right?
We do, that evening.
This is the Albany to Buffalo.
But
They camp in Canada
Yeah, they're
here.
coming from Canada here.
Yeah.
For the morning.
So they're gonna be here like 9 to 12 o'clock or 8 to 12, something like that. So that's when all these people will be going through.
Yeah.
And, and we're trying to organize, like, Schoharie Crossing has a big thing going, and we're trying to organize something. And with the county has an office there now for tourism. And Morgan McCleary is on our committee. And, she's the tourism lady for the county, and she's working with it, trying to do that.
What
But,
time did they come through at all staggered times?
yeah, but, they wake up in the morning, they're camping out, and they go. So it could be like 8 o'clock to 12 probably. That's what we estimate.
So.
You know,
somebody
8 to
would
11.
A few
trail
years
lunch?
ago, we handed out water and things like that. We've tried to build it up over the years.
They got a whole thing going on down there. What are some of the specifics that you're doing that I offered to jump in on?
Well, like Nigel offered to give free tours of the castle, you know, and Morgan offered to have water available at the, you know, pass out water. And I was gonna make cupcakes, you know, but that's as far as we got so far. We still got 2 weeks, so.
Well, I'll see if I can get some energy bars and stuff to hand out. I think
Okay,
that would
good.
be
I was thinking having a
crucial.
business do bike trail brunch or something, you know?
Okay.
I mean, that's what you wanted to do.
At Square Crossing, they have a band
Yeah,
and they have cupcakes or something.
they're coming too early for our concert that night.
Yeah.
Basically.
But the music would be nice.
Yeah, that's too bad, 'cause it's a Beatles show, so it's gonna be good.
Yeah, we've been good. Across the pond.
But, you know, being a trail town, the reason I got involved in this is because of the Chuctanunda Creek. You know, and that's what this, you have a present, a free bookmark, you know, and this tells you about the Chuctanunda Creek. And, you know, I like to thank you and ask for your help. You know, you have some great people in the city, and you know, I was a poor kid in the East End. I grew up on Eagle Street. I used to go to Cousins Park every day, and I don't want to say that that's what saved me, but you know, it helped me go into that Cousins Park there. We had 6 kids in our family. All of us went to college, you know, and I don't want to say that's because of Cousins Park, but I tell you, people live by more than bread alone, and we need. I know you need potholes, and you need, you know, you got to spend money on a lot of different. And I know the engineers fixing the water. I know all that, you know, but parks and trails are important, and I thank you, you know, for your support, and I hope that you know, in the future we can make like a better Chuctanunda Trail. On the back of this thing, there's some of our activities that we do. You know, we're having hikes, and we have a forum, and we have a whole bunch of things going on. So, you know, I don't want to take up all your time, but you know, I just want to thank you, and you know, ask for your help.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Chuctanunda Trail, your group is a great group. We've done a lot for our community.
Street.
That's right. I lived across the street
There you go.
from Kirk Douglas.
You lived across the street from him.
If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to about the
Anybody have any
Chuctanunda
questions,
Trail.
John?
When is this turtle walk? Is it too late to see the turtle site?
Actually, we were just there. I'll tell you, we were looking around up there with the guy. He mows the grass across the street, and Jackie's still working on the exact date, but it's probably not. We're not going to probably see the turtles emerge from the ground.
No, but just knowing there's a site there is kind of cool to check out.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
We are now
Thank you, John.
in the public participation section, so if you're a member of the public would like to say anything, approach the podium, name, address, you have a 5-minute time limit.
John Archett with 12 at 18 Austin Street. Recently, Mayor, I watched another meeting in the town of Wilton. They have a problem with squatters. I don't know if we have a problem with that in Amsterdam, but what they did was people were entering their homes and stuff, people on vacation. People would call the police. The police said they couldn't do anything about it because there was no trespassing signs on it. So I kind of wonder if, you know, maybe, I don't know if that's a problem in the city, but maybe we should check into that to make sure that, you know, we're taken care of in the future, because we don't want people to lose their homes or anything like that, you know, just because they did a little trapping. Another thing is at the corner of Lion and Rockton, I brought this up, that one property there, it was supposed to be historic. For years, it's been sitting there. Now, either the people want to fix that up, like I think there was a guy that came here a little bit or something like that. Either fix it up or maybe we can tear it down. There's a lot of historic buildings. You could say Bohaska was historic. You could say the Chalmers building was historic. But we moved on. That's why they had pictures of something. But that's an eyesore there, Kelly. You know, it's right by Crystal Bar, the old Crystal Bar. And either they fix it up and then give them a timetable. And if they don't fix it up, maybe the city, we can consider knocking it down because it's only a home for cats and rats. Another thing is, maybe Kelly, you can work with the police department. I still think on Rockton Street, there's too many stop signs there. And maybe we can knock down some of those signs. What good is having a street when nobody wants to use it? I could see maybe going up the hill. I wouldn't want to go up that hill in August, but there's no reason for all those stop signs on Rockton Street. And I know sometimes people bring up stop signs, in different areas of the city. I think that we could review that. There's no reason to have all those stop signs on Rockton Street. Another thing is, Mayor, I'm very impressed with all the work that's being done on Lion Street. I talked to Mike earlier, I couldn't believe the size of those pipes that are there and stuff. So, I mean, it's to tell the people, take your time so we do the job real good. I'm very impressed with the work they did, but there's no reason to be in a big rush. And then we got problems later on the road. But I couldn't believe the size of those pipes that we got there, Mayor. But just tell them to take their time and it's going to be a good thing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next.
My name is David Gamula. I live on 45 Brookside Avenue. And I want to apologize to Kelly for being rude at the last meeting. The reason I'm here is I want to thank the mayor for doing what he did for 5254 Brookside Avenue, the house across the street from me. The man came in.
The city, thank the city, they did that.
Yes, the city, thank you. But there's one other problem there. There's a car that sits right there. I think it's a BMW or a Mercedes or something. It's been there for almost 2 years. It's an eyesore. If you could look into that, I'm asking possibly someone remove that car and make that property more valuable than it is. That's about it. I don't, if anybody's got any questions, I'll answer them.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Anyone else from the public like to say anything? All right, thank you very much. Controllers report, Louise?
I don't have anything formally prepared for tonight, but, it's been a very, very busy time. We've just ended our one fiscal year and we're starting up another one, so very busy time. But I don't have anything prepared otherwise.
Any questions for the controller?
I was just wondering about the collection process for the pool and the camps.
Yes.
So any kind of update on that?
In fact, I met with Rob and Michelle last week, and we reviewed a lot of the changes that we put in place last year to make sure that we're all set to move forward with the same procedures as last year, because everything worked very well. The most significant thing that we changed that's going to really tighten things up immensely and improve our ability to reconcile our cash collections is we switched from having students register for summer camps as a family. We used to, it would be like, there would be a price for a single student camper, and then, another price for a whole family, and it would be regardless of whether there were 2 siblings, 6 siblings, and it made it virtually impossible to tie out and reconcile the number of campers to the revenue that was collected. So we now require online registration. There's no cash involved, and it worked out a lot. It's going to work out a lot better.
It looks like you changed the platform too, right? Like Zippy Reg you went to a different platform, or was that the one you did last year? Okay.
It's the same
Oh, okay, I thought I saw Zippy, right?
And then, and we worked with that company, Michelle and I spent a lot of time with the rep. They, right, we just kind of reconfigured everything so that it, checking out, registering and paying online and everything is.
So everything has to be online, they can't come into City Hall anymore.
No.
On Fridays.
And that's what would happen before.
Right, or then they call us and say, it's Saturday and I didn't sign my kid up, can you help me? So no, it has to be done online by a
Has to be
certain
done
date.
online there. See, that's what used to happen. That was
Yeah.
also a
A confusion, yeah.
reconciling nightmare you'd have, because the registering online didn't allow for cash payments.
Mhm.
So we wanted to have a process in place that did not bypass the online registration. Because what would happen before is they'd register online if they were paying by credit card, or they'd come in and fill out a paper form, and then we'd have two sets of cash flow to manage, and it got very unwieldy. So now everything is cash, it's credit payments online only, registration online only, and it's a lot tighter.
Good.
And that, no one has complained so far.
Sure, but if we get any calls, we'll know to answer it that way.
Is there a limit at how many kids can apply for camp?
I don't really know, probably, I don't know what that number is, but I know for we had about 60 signed up. We ran a report for I think the first week, as of last week, and they might have, they're cutting it off, they're cutting off registrations. You have to be registered a week before camp starts, so I don't think it went up in much more than that for the first week, but I think they had 60 or 70.
Any other questions of the controller? Thank you, Louise. I'll say no more business. So we're on to the new business. We can go on to the resolutions.
Resolution 2425-1, resolution adopting the minutes of the last common council meeting by Alderwoman Quistamars.
So moved. Discussion? You call the roll?
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Resolution 2425-2, resolution to sign general indemnity agreement for streetlights by Alderwoman Collins. Whereas the city of Amsterdam has been approved to purchase streetlights from National Grid, whereas National Grid requires the city purchase a surety bond which ensures a third-party financial guarantee for the project. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor of the city of Amsterdam be authorized and directed to sign the GAI on behalf of the city of Amsterdam, and that the mayor be authorized to directed to attest to the same.
So, for discussion? Alderman.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Resolution 2425-3, resolution establishing policy for visitors at City Hall and city-owned buildings by full council. Whereas Mayor Sanquanti having recently signed Executive Order 2024-1 pertaining to a policy for visitors at City Hall and at other city-owned buildings and properties. And whereas by way of the instant resolution, the Common Council of the City of Amsterdam being desirous to establish a permanent policy for visitors at City Hall and other city-owned buildings and properties consistent with the provisions contained in the aforementioned executive order. Whereas a copy of the visitor's policy for City Hall and other city-owned buildings and properties being attached hereto and the same being incorporated herein, by reference, it is hereby resolved that the attached visitor's policy for City Hall and other city-owned building is hereby adopted.
So moved. Call the roll.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
And Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Resolution 2425-4, resolution authorizing mayor to execute dog shelter services agreement with Montgomery County SPCA by Alderman Marticello. Whereas the city of Amsterdam wishes to enter into a contract with the Montgomery County SPCA relating to a dog shelter services in the amount of $22,000 per year to be paid in 4 quarterly installments for a period of 24 months beginning July 1, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2026. Whereas a copy of the contract being attached hereto. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor is authorized to execute the attached contract with Montgomery County SPCA.
So moved. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
I cannot vote on this.
She's good at just.
Abstain. Okay, and Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Resolution 2425-5, resolution approving the audit by Alderwoman Collins.
For discussion? Alderman.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
And Alderman Holliday.
Tomorrow night is an event. Our city's going to have the River Link. We
will have the golf cart as well.
Golf cart will be there to transport people to and from the bridge, over the bridge. We've got a great band, all right, and what else we got? What's going on? You know better than I.
What time does it start?
Fireworks.
Fireworks.
And the water ski show.
And the water
And the water
ski
ski
show.
show. Can I make a suggestion since we're on the subject?
That's a good question.
I know we've had some vandalism down there,
Yes.
especially throughout the winter time with Drifter's location, then with we call it the clamshell, but the canvas portion where somebody took a knife to it.
Oh.
And I believe I saw something from APD about the elevator. Can we get signs down there that say park under video surveillance just as a deterrent?
Say that louder.
Can we get some signage down there that says park is under video surveillance just for some deterrence?
I'll take care of that.
You know,
It should be all. Great.
Irene, you asked the time, 5:30 X Squad Water Show, 6:30. We have a warm-up band, it looks like. 7:30 Headliners Big Sky Country, 9:30 fireworks.
And the
And then
rest,
also Saturday, you've got
and
the
then
marching
Saturday,
band.
the regular concert series starts, and that is gonna be a great show, and I hope everybody comes because it's gonna be Amsterdam Marching Rams, and it's all aspects of the Marching Rams. It's the jazz club, it's the percussion unit, it's everybody. We are putting on a picnic for the kids during the day while they're setting up in practice. There's about 70 kids coming. I have 3 grills coming. We provided a lot of the food for them that we'll be cooking for them. And it's a really good family-friendly night with the Amsterdam Marching Rams that are, award-winning, and we celebrate those kids. And I guess I'm a little partial because one of the clarinetists couldn't make it, so Emily's going to be jumping in.
Nice.
So there's a couple of alumni playing. I really hope everybody comes. It's going to be a great time.
thank you,
That's
Chris.
Saturday.
Friday and Saturday night in Amsterdam. I know it's
Anything
not
else?
Friday. What is it tomorrow? It's the.
Tomorrow's the 3rd on the 4th.
St. Stan's Polish
The
Festival.
13th.
The 13th and 14th.
When is it?
13th and 14th.
13th and 14th. Be there or be square.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All
Thank
right.
you, Alderwoman Christopher Morris.
Aye.
Alderman Holliday.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Tomorrow's third, yeah.
Tomorrow's the 3rd.
It's a big party.
The 4th.
Sarah,
Sarah.
Thank you so much.